Price action of crypto has been horrible over the last couple of days, over the last weeks. Bitcoin is trading at around 94k. On Friday, we have seen the Bybit hack, which was the largest financial heist in history. 1.4 billion worth of ETH got stolen by a hacker group from the exchange Bybit. Michael Saylor managed to raise $2 billion and he bought 20,356 Bitcoin with it at an average price of 97.5k. The problem is that Bitcoin is still down. Guys, $2 billion. $2 billion in 1 week and Bitcoin is down. That is definitely not a very good sign. And you see it only a few seconds later drop $400. So it's definitely a bit more volatile than it was last week. And the market doesn't look good at all. And when we take a look at the last purchases of MicroStrategy, we can see that all of the last purchases are in a loss. Okay. The latest transaction from them is from November 18th, 2024. That's the latest purchase from them that is in a profit. All the others since then are sitting on a loss. Now they have around 500,000 Bitcoin and they are controlling the market. But the problem is if they are not able to push the price further anymore, despite buying huge amounts, it means that big whales are selling their Bitcoin. And there is definitely a chance that the bull market is over. So 13 days ago, I told you in my video, the US will not buy Bitcoin. Why I have sold my Bitcoin position completely. At that time, my Bitcoin position was 33% of my crypto portfolio and I liquidated the position completely. And in this video, I explained to you why I believe that the US is not going to buy any Bitcoin. And we just recently got the news that Montana's Bitcoin reserve bill has been rejected by House lawmakers over concerns about speculation with taxpayer dollars. So over the last couple of weeks, influencers were constantly telling that the US and the US states are going to build crypto reserves or Bitcoin reserves, and nothing of that is happening. Okay, nothing of that is happening. And Michael Saylor is keeping us above 90k. He is keeping Bitcoin alive, and anyone who's telling you something different has no clue what is going on currently in the crypto market. So in this video, I pointed out why I believe that Bitcoin's only use case is just speculation. People are only buying Bitcoin to sell it higher to somebody else later, and Bitcoin is not comparable to gold in my opinion. I changed my opinion on that because earlier, a few years ago, I thought that Bitcoin was the digital gold, the new digital gold, but I believe that this is not the case and no big state and no central bank is ever going to buy Bitcoin. So let's take a look at what happened. Montana's House voted 41 to 59 against a bill that could have seen the US state establish a Bitcoin reserve. Many lawmakers concerned it would have allowed the state's investment board to speculate too heavily with taxpayer money. So they are talking about speculating. So in their opinion, Bitcoin is speculation and not an investment. Many Republicans voted against House Bill number 429 in a 41 to 59 vote. The bill has proposed creating a special revenue account to invest in precious metals, stablecoins and digital assets that have averaged a market cap above 750 billion over the last calendar year, a criteria that only Bitcoin currently meets. It is still taxpayer money and we are responsible for it and we need to protect it, State Representative Steve Kelly said during Montana's February 22nd House floor session, adding that these type of investments are way too risky. So they definitely are not comparing it to gold, and they know if they buy Bitcoin once, they can never sell it again without a huge price drop. So they definitely see Bitcoin as speculation, and the question right now is, what will be the next narrative to push Bitcoin higher? The last narrative was very strong. It was that states, central banks are going to buy Bitcoin to put it on their balance sheet, but nothing of that is happening, okay? Which makes it very hard for Bitcoin to move higher in the next few months. Let's be honest. Michael Saylor raises billions over billions and he's not able to push the price any further. He spent like 5 billions over the last couple of weeks and Bitcoin went down. And the Bybit hack is definitely also another bad sign for the crypto space. To the outside, this is not looking good. It makes people feel more riskier about crypto from the outside. If they're looking from the outside, it has definitely a negative impact. And when we take a look at altcoins over the last 7 days, XRP 10% down, many alts are down, Solana 16, Doge 14, Chainlink 16, so quite a bit. Many alts are down quite a lot, especially over the last 30 days. Trump meme coin new lows, $14.7, and this definitely could have been the major top signal of this cycle. So if you ask me, there is definitely a chance that the bull market is over and that we are going lower next. Worst case for me over the next 3 to 4 weeks would be that we would drop below 90k and go down all the way to 73k and find support there. The Nasdaq is also weak over the last 2 days, and crypto is highly correlated to the Nasdaq, mainly Bitcoin of course. And in times of uncertainty, which we are definitely having right now in the US, that whole thing around Trump and Elon Musk with Department of Government Efficiency and the tariff things are definitely putting some pressure on the investment space, and I think that we could move sideways for the next few weeks in the traditional markets, which would definitely not be a good thing for risk assets like crypto. As you might know, in my opinion, the biggest use case of crypto is pure speculation. Most people don't use altcoins. Everybody only buys altcoins to sell them higher to someone else in the future. The same is true for Bitcoin, and I don't expect an altcoin season in March, and I also don't expect that Bitcoin is moving higher now, okay? If Saylor still manages to raise money every week, he could hold Bitcoin around 90k, but if he stops buying over the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, we will definitely drop, in my opinion. And if you ask me, the only thing that could make it possible that the crypto bull cycle continues is the money printing, it is global money supply. And I have to say that since the beginning of January, global liquidity started to move up again. As you might remember, we saw this significant move in the global money supply from the end of June until the end of September, which made it very easy for risk assets to move higher. So if you ask me, there is a lagging effect between the global money supply and Bitcoin, and when the money supply is going up, it is way easier for MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor to raise money in order to buy more Bitcoin and push the price further. And after we saw that drop in global liquidity, which made it impossible for MicroStrategy to push the price further, we now started to go up again. And let's say we need to wait 10 weeks until it affects the crypto market. If it is true, of course, I don't know whether it is, starting at the end of March. And I think the global liquidity is the only thing that can save the crypto bull market right now, because all the hopium is gone and no big state is going to actively buy Bitcoin in 2025. And only if Bitcoin turns around then and moves higher, only then we can see positive movements for altcoins again. And if this does not happen, the Bitcoin bull market is over. In order to see increasing global M2 money supply, we need to see a weaker dollar. The dollar needs to go down. If you're interested in that topic, which you should be watching the interview from Raoul Paul with Michael Howell, who is an expert on global liquidity. And let's take a look at the liquidation heat map for Bitcoin. As you might know, Bitcoin tends to follow liquidation clusters of the liquidation heat map, and we can see one level here, 99.5k on the 2-week liquidation heat map. But I think that is very hard for Bitcoin to move higher right now, and I don't think that we will go to that level over the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, because I don't think that MicroStrategy manages to raise more than 2 billion a week. And let's say Michael Saylor only manages to raise 500 million next week, this week and next week, it is more likely for Bitcoin to go down. When we take a look at the 1 week, we can see 93k, and by the time you are watching the video, we may already have dropped to this level. So to sum it up, MicroStrategy is the main actor in the crypto market right now, and if you want to know what is going to happen next, you have to follow them carefully, you have to watch what they are doing, and you should also have a look at the global money supply, and you need to analyze whether you think the global money supply is going higher or not over the next few months. This has a huge impact on risk assets, it has a huge impact on the Nasdaq, and only if the Nasdaq is going to go higher, Bitcoin and crypto can go higher. And if the Nasdaq and Bitcoin are not going higher, it could get even uglier for altcoins. So that was it with the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I hope you could get some value out of it. We will see us next time at LB Crypto. Goodbye.